A new deputy governor for the Reserve Bank appointed. More changes at the Reserve Bank, where the federal government has tapped the Bank of England's Andrew Hauser to be the new deputy governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia from early 2024. For more, I spoke with independent economist Saul Eslake. Saul, what do we know about Andrew Hauser?
At this stage, we know what's in his official biography, and in the Reserve Bank's announcement today, he's the Executive Director Markets of the Bank of England with 30 years experience at Britain's central bank. He's the equivalent of the Reserve Bank's Chris Kent, who was apparently one of the internal candidates for this position, but the government has decided to give it to an outsider. This is only the second time that there's been an outside appointment to the senior echelons of the Reserve Bank. The other one was Bernie Fraser's appointment as governor by Paul Keating in 1989. This is the first time that I'm aware that someone from outside Australia has been appointed to such a senior position within the Reserve Bank.
So why do you think the government looked offshore instead of appointing someone internally or here from Australia?
I suspect there are two reasons. One is that the government will have been looking for some new blood to help bed down the changes to the Reserve Bank that are going to flow from the review that was conducted last year and which the government will be legislating this week. And he'll be in a position to give outside experience to Governor Michelle Bullock as she seeks to shake up the Reserve Bank's culture, as she indicated she wanted to do last week. The second thing is that Mr. Hauser will have direct experience of working with a monetary policy committee, that is a body of outside experts to make decisions about interest rates, which is the model that the Reserve Bank is going to take up from the 1st of July next year, and which the Bank of England has had for, I think, the best part of 2 decades.
All right, so we know about his backgrounds and his abilities to, I guess, assist in some of these recommendations of the review. What do you think will be some of his key challenges?
Well, an obvious key challenge for 2024 will be making judgments about whether further tightening of monetary policy is required in order to bring inflation down to the Reserve Bank's 2 to 3% target range in accordance with the timetable that's been laid out by Governor Bullock, that is by the end of 2025. Now, in addition, of course, he will, with Governor Bullock, be bedding down the new method for setting monetary policy with an outside committee of experts that starts work from the 1st of July next year. He brings practical experience of briefing a committee like that and carrying out its instructions. So I'm sure that was a key consideration in the government's decision to appoint him to this role of deputy governor.
Finally, is there any significance or has there been a delay to this appointment, or do you think there would be any, I guess, rumblings within the RBA in an external appointment, given that, for example, we saw Michelle Bullock move from deputy to governor quite quickly, and then we saw a few other resignations and moves within the RBA beforehand?
Well, there have been some significant departures of senior experienced personnel from the Reserve Bank in recent years, including the former Deputy Governor Guy Debelle a couple of years ago, and more recently senior officials such as Lucy Ellis and Jonathan Chancellor, and as well as some people from slightly lower down the hierarchy. Now, they may have made their own judgments about their individual prospects of ultimately acceding to the most senior role and decided to do something else. But I wouldn't read anything particular into the fact that it took the government a few months to arrive at Mr. Hauser's nomination. And if they had made an in-principle decision to seek an external appointment, and particularly someone from outside Australia, it's understandable that it would have taken some time to identify the right candidate and to persuade him in this instance that he should move halfway across the world to take up this position.
Saul Eslake there, independent economist.